What is up, everybody? Good morning. Today is Thursday, July 15th, and if you can't tell, I am completely ready to get into things today. It has been a wild 24 hours. As you can see, I have the 3D gang glasses on, taking a little bit of a note from Richard from the Richard interview. He started that interview off wearing some 3D glasses, and I thought it was hilarious and thought I would just copy the joke. As you know, I am a big proponent of 3D glasses, NFTs, and of course, my Bored Ape has 3D glasses, so I had to throw them on this morning. A lot is happening. A lot is happening in this space. As you can tell, today's going to be probably another long show. I have an insane amount of tabs open. Lots of things going on. Lots of things happening in the space. I put out a funny poll this morning asking what people thought about polymorphs. Are they hideous, good looking, doesn't matter because of utility, or do you just like Tyler? So just a funny start to the morning. Let's just hop right into things because there's so much happening. So DGen Data actually reached out and helped me out with some of the analytics for today's show. So if you haven't, please go give him a follow and check out his website. It is like the premier place to understand like CryptoPunks, VFriends, Hashmask, Meebits, Crummy Squiggles, Ringers. Like the fact that he's gone into the art block stuff is so important. So taking a quick look at Meebits volume has been on a rise, and total sales have been on a rise. So we've seen this floor price slowly creep up since the beginning of July from like the low zero point 0.8 to 1 Ethereum range, and since then it's just been slowly rising. More and more volume coming into it. Even in the last days, we're seeing more volume come into the space. So I think people are, like I've said every other show, accumulating bags, buying in, packing up their Meebits. Now, taking a look at buyers and sellers for punks, this has also been an interesting place to check out. When you see that there are more buyers and sellers coming in every single day. So I think on the left is buyers and on the right are sellers. Actually, no, I think it's the other way around. It's top buyers on the left, sellers on the right. So there's also, if we look at this, just a lot happening for sales and buy activity over the last week period. We're also looking at the median and minimum price for punks. And for the median price and the minimum price, it's obvious what's happening. I think on one chart it's a little bit more obvious on the minimum, but on the median side, we're seeing increasing volume, increasing purchasing across the board. Like Meebits, Apes, Punks, and there's a couple other projects, but mostly those three have just been in this slow, like, okay, we'll let it pull back. Things are going to, chill out, through June. And then the very beginning of July, it was just this slow creep up. All of the charts look the same. So we have lots of sales increasing, median price increasing. If you look at the floor, it's even more obvious. So this is minimum sale price. We're seeing that kind of right at the end of June. That was the end, and then in July, slowly creeping up, volume creeping up. The big thing to note here is while in the median price chart, it's a little less obvious, just because back in June when there was the minimum price might have been down in the low teens. A couple sales higher up would offset that. What we're seeing right now is, I think, right off of the floor in the 20 to 40 range, we're seeing lots of sales. Like that's getting eaten up very quickly and churning. The floor is kind of sitting at 20, not too much happening. What's going to happen though, in my opinion, is we'll see that 20 to 40 range get eaten up. A lot of the good ones are going to be gone. Then you're going to have to go even higher. And then people are going to eat up the floor at some point. That floor price will either get risen to 25 to 30. So I do see like a 50% in punk prices incoming at some point. The number of new wallets also coming into the space is pretty obvious. We're seeing more and more newcomers come in, buying one or two or three new punks. Even seeing some four new wallet punk purchasers come into the space. And it's not, I don't think it's people just buying the floor. It definitely seems like for the median price and the average price that people are buying, off of the floor in that median range. Definitely no crazy sales for new wallets that were like, somebody comes in and buys something ridiculous like a zombie. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the story across the board. I could have wrapped this up probably quicker. I just wanted to walk through all the charts, but more people coming into the space, more people buying things up, prices are rising, more volume. Then OG people that have been around are also buying. There's just buying happening. So if you have ETH and you want to buy something, the prices are going up, and if you have something for sale, prices are going up. Keep note of that. Um, Probably the most notable for only up and prices are up are Chromie Squiggles, the Genesis piece from Art Blocks curated, done and designed and made by Snowfro. Um, we're seeing a floor over 3 Ethereum right now, which is just mind boggling. If you purchased a squiggle off the floor a couple weeks ago, even like 6, 8 weeks ago, you're looking at potentially a like 6 to 10xer, depending on what kind of deal you got, which is insane. Like that's really crazy. So floor is sitting at 3.2 right now. If we go and look at like Slinkies are currently sitting at a floor of almost 4. Fuzzies sitting at a floor of almost 5. Um, and like the floors are like at 5, but like that's for 3. And I think the same thing with Slinkies. Like, and 3 purchases, you're at 5.5. 6 purchases, you're at a 6 ETH floor. And then after that, like another 8 purchases. Like, it's very easy to push the fuzzy floor to 12 today. Like we could see that happen. Ribbed, we are seeing a floor of 4 point. Oh, so we're only having a floor of 5. That's interesting. Again, I've seen this in a couple yesterday, and I should have acted on it. Maybe I'll act on this today. Is we saw some like arbitrage opportunities where rarity was not matching up with kind of pricing. So like look at Slinky and Fuzzy. Those two definitely are near to each other in the supply. Ribbed, however, a little bit more rare, and it's about the same price as a fuzzy right now, so worth keeping an eye on. The bold market absolutely took off yesterday. I think you could have picked one of these up for like 6. And yeah, now we're seeing at a floor of 11, 12, 15. Very easy to push this floor to 50 today if a couple people come in and are motivated buyers. And then from there, it just kind of gets crazy in price. Pipe sitting at a 22.5 floor. Um, you know, crazy stuff. And then hyper full, and then the other spectrums sitting at like 49. Full spectrum sitting at 48, and perfect spectrum sitting at an 80, which is going to be like a big purchase. We could see that roll in today. Wouldn't be surprised. But Chromie Squiggles, just prices are up all across the board. If we take a quick look at them, the average ETH sale pushing almost to 4 right now over the last 24 hours. Not surprising. And you can just see like the time to buy was back in mid-June. Like I said, you could have picked these up for like 0.5 on average, and then if you put in a stink bid on somebody and they accepted for like 0.2 to 0.3, you could be looking at a huge return. There are people I know who had originally minted like 200 of these and they only hold like 10. I know some other people who originally minted 30 and they hold all 30 still. So prices are way up. Really cool to see that happening. Some other cool stuff that's happening. The Elite 8 for the featured punks in Punks Comic issue number 2 have been chosen. Congrats to everybody that was chosen there. Really excited. Happy for Tropo. I unfortunately did not make the cut to the final 16 nor the final 8. But I am super excited to see these guys get featured and be in the comic. Chris Wall is going to do an amazing job with this comic and the art. I cannot wait to see what it looks like. Hopefully, I can get them to let me show a little sneak peek on the show at some point, just because I like to hook up my listeners and viewers. So I'll reach out and see what I can get done on that. Beanie also tweeting about Meta Heroes, which is the project that Pixel Vault will be releasing very soon. There's going to be a snapshot today. This snapshot essentially looks at how many comics you own. For each comic, you have the ability to purchase a mint pass. Each mint pass costs 0.08 ETH, and then each of these mint passes guarantees you the minting ability for a meta hero. And it's very cool because the meta heroes are going to be a 10,000 run, but there's going to be 144 unique predetermined pieces. So if you look at like Wizards, that project had a couple pieces that were like very clearly not generated. They were one of ones that were made and they're unique. And the team took their time to draw and make them very special. So you do have a chance of getting one of those 144. I do expect those to go for high single digit ETH sales right off the bat. And then the longevity of this project and what I'm expecting for it to come out with, I honestly think you could see like some really stupid, insane sales from here. I'm getting like Axie vibes a little bit. I'm getting, I have high hopes. I think this is going to be an insane game. I think there's going to be insane, like, not only like from a perspective of like quality, but from like people really getting into it and enjoying it. So excited for that. Keep an eye out. If you don't have a Punk comic, pick one up today. If you don't and you're on the fence, I think it's a good buy. I'll go out that far and say that. Damien Hirst announcing his 10,000 physical NFT drop will happen. You have to go and apply on Henny for it. It's a side chain. You can transfer these NFTs onto, you can bridge them over onto the Ethereum network, and they will be ERC 721 compatible. The cool thing about this is just that Hearst is a legend in the traditional art world. We're going to see a huge onboarding event of traditional art buyers making a MetaMask to get their first either NFT or apply for this. And then on the other side, we have a lot of people who had no idea who Hearst was a week ago. And they're now learning who he is and saying, everybody's talking about this Hearst guy, and it seems like such a big deal to get a piece of his for $2,000. I really want a piece to hang up in my wall. So the interesting thing here is there's going to be 10,000. Each one costs 1 Ethereum. You have to go apply. You have 6 days as of this recording to go and apply. Once you apply, they'll actually review your application. It's just, stating like how many you want to buy, but you also have to use your MetaMask if you want to become a power user. Power users are essentially, they look to see what have you purchased. Are you a DeFi degen? Do you own Punks? Do you own Apes? Do you own Art Blocks? Do you own Meebits? They want to know like what are you doing. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for. I'm positive though that they're going to get more than 10,000 applications to purchase. I wouldn't be surprised if they got like 50,000 applications. I know that sounds insane, but like every single person in the space is applying for this because it's going to be one of those such unique drops. To add to that, if you win and purchase, there's a 3-month waiting period. So you make the purchase, and then during that period, you have the decision to either take an NFT of the physical or take the physical. And in either case, it'll be burned. Like, so if you take the physical, you don't get the NFT, it's sent off to, the graveyard. If you take the NFT, the physical piece is actually burned. So all these pieces exist. The website is done phenomenally. The application process was awesome to use. The project is called The Currency. I don't think I said that. I think I'm too excited and I blanked over what it's even called. It's called the currency. 10,000 pieces, powered by Palm. It is on henny.com, HENI.com. You need to go there, make the application, and then you'll find out more as things come out. So it's super exciting. I went and applied. I'm going to try to pick up one. Um, and like I said, I used my MetaMask to confirm that I own either CryptoPunk, Hashmask, a Meebit, a Bored Ape Yacht Club, or an Art Blocks. So I am a confirmed NFT power user. I do need to wait another 6 days until I guess the applications close, and then they start letting people know if they're getting one. So I thought this was funny yesterday, looking at gas, and especially like this morning, what's happening. As of this recording, gas is sitting at about 56.48. There is some price action within Ethereum, so I'm not surprised by that. This is mostly DeFi, congested right now from our low, like 10 to 20 Gwei mornings. So DeFi causing a little bit of gas, but if you look at the previous historic gas prices, we could play a game called Find the Art Blocks Drop. And it was just funny because like I was looking and I went to do a transaction yesterday and then I couldn't because gas was so high and I wasn't going to pay for it. And then I looked on Twitter and somebody said that there was a either playground or a factory drop happening. Obviously, it is that giant spike right here. I think this is bad. Like this is bad for Ethereum because it's rewarding miners. It's not rewarding the artists of our blocks who there are people willing to pay insane amounts of money. So I think this is something that's going to have to be addressed with Ethereum at some point. DC investors talked about it. I think Deez has talked about it a little bit. So hopefully we get some addressment on that in the coming months. That would be amazing. I do know there are talks of what is going to happen. Trippy Ape or Captain Trippy coming in this morning with quite the ape. Purchasing, well, not this morning, yesterday. I did see this roll in 17 Ethereum purchase of this Trippy dog, Trippy Captain hat, Trippy fur. Very cool. Congrats to Captain. And, I think this is a record setting or one of the highest sales that we've seen for a kennel club recently. So very cool. I think Kennel Club is going to zip up in price, especially when we see utility, the breeding, all the announcements for Bored Ape Yacht Club come out. I think prices across the board are going to go way up. Some other notes. Yesterday was the Rabbit College Club minting. I did not mint anything, but it was crazy to see the amount of gas people were paying. It looks like it was just inefficiency that caused this with a little bit of demand, and people ended up paying $1,000 to mint batches. Not great. Always make sure that when you're minting or if you're developing a project, gas is that big thing you need to understand and make sure you're not screwing over the people that are trying to buy your project and killing them with gas. I saw this from Ryan at RDM underscore 41, giving a shout out to 0x Wave. Really cool analytics. He's pushing Dune to like not only its limits, but like really utilizing and putting some good stuff out there. So one, go give Ryan a file and go give OX Wave a file, a follow. They just put out good stuff. I like them. They're cool guys. This was just a quick analysis he did for wallet overlaps. Really interesting to see. Obviously, Bored Ape Yacht Club and Bored Ape Kennel Club. We're going to have some overlap. Take a look. I think there are some interesting insights as we start to look into it. He also posted this interesting take on Pranksy. Pranksy obviously made a huge purchase of the 1,200 Bored Ape Yacht Club apes that he minted, and then just talks about how he made money and how that sell-off looks, how many he currently owns. I think he's down to like only a few. And even as this morning, I saw like his final few apes, I think, go off and be sold. So he's probably down to less than 10 at this point. So actually, I think it might be interesting because like the Pranksy story might have like, oh, do you own a Pranksy ape? Was the ape minted by Pranksy? that might have some historic value in the future just because it's such a piece of the history. I'm just thinking as I'm talking. But again, Zero X Wave on Twitter putting out some great content from Dune, worth a follow. Awesome to see. Another thing that's even cooler to see is Mike Tyson, who's repping the cool cat. He likes the cats, buying a legendary Zed Run horse yesterday. Um, Really cool to see Mike just jumping in like head first into the space, buying stuff, interacting with the community. Changes his profile photo, interacting with Zed Run, which is like a game. Like he's not just like buying stuff and be like, cool, look at my wallet. He's like, all right, let me buy stuff and try and play and experiment. It's cool. So I'm excited to see him doing that. I like it. I'm happy. People definitely reacted positively in the comments, so good to see. As I said, the Bored Ape Yacht Club has caught fire this morning. Yesterday we saw the floor push to 5. I've been saying it, like people are gonna start buying these up. Like we saw the floor is starting to rise. We'll likely see 5. I think 5 is gonna take some time. I think a lot of people who have just been sitting on them realize that there's some price action coming back, and they're starting to list stuff between 5 and 7. That's where most of the price activity seems to be. I love this meme from Fundy Ape for the Bored Ape Yacht Club chasing the 5 ETH floor. I forget what he made. This might have been like 3 or 4 or 2. I can't remember what this was, but like 5 weeks ago, like remember what the price was? We never thought 5 was gonna like truly happen. So super cool to see this happening. So another quick fun story while I'm talking this morning, because there's lots of things happening, and then we'll get into floor prices in like a minute or two. Yesterday morning might have been one of my most special moments in NFTs yet. Um, Yesterday during a spaces where I just held and we were talking good vibes, talking NFTs in the morning. I had a gentleman named TJ hop up on stage and tell us that he and his daughter, who are, I believe, in India, have been inside for COVID. His daughter came to him months ago because she watched Gary Vee and she had found out about NFTs and she wanted to get into them, but she didn't know what to do. And he was like, "Well, let me help you." And because of COVID, she was just drawing on her computer and she started drawing these owls. And I think they had a few sales, 4 or 5 sales in the past month or two. Um, and jokingly, we were like, oh my God, let's check out the owls. And the story was amazing. The girl, I even asked the daughter to get on, and she was very shy, but she kind of overcame her fear and talked to a room full of like 120 people. And was saying, trying to tell the story and say like she started drawing the owls and she likes them and her favorite one. And we started buying them. It was really cool. They were like 0.03 ETH. What was really exciting just to hear their reactions live. I'm happy to support a young artist, people that are getting into the space. I hope that she continues with it. She continues with art, NFTs. So thank you to like the 20 to 30 of you who are in the space who all bought an owl. I try not to like let people up on stage and like show their projects, but that was certainly a special one that stood out, and I'm really glad we could help TJ and his daughter. And I'm excited to see what they do next. Yesterday we also gave a shout out to photographers. This thread is like mind-bogglingly good. There's like 300 comments from 300 different photographers, all posting their best work. I found like out of the 300, I found like a top 10 list where I'm trying to find ETH to buy these photos. There was an amazing Porsche photo. There was an amazing Nat Geo photographer that had some like absolutely breathtaking pieces. I'm going to try to start getting some photographers on the show, talk about their stories, just throw an image up and we'll do like 5 of their images, talk about the background, how do they take the photo, what's the story, editing process, their philosophy on NFTs and photography, the both. So definitely go check out that thread. It's worth a read. We also, so some of the Chromie Squiggle price action has been because of this RTFK Artifact Studios drop, and they're announcing that they're gonna do Chromie Squiggle shoes. This is just like sick. Like I will for certain pick up a pair of these, and I will wear them completely to the ground. It's gonna be like the shoe I wear. So I probably have to buy two or three pairs if I'm being quite honest with myself. Um, but I think that there's just a lot of interesting things that are going to be happening with Chromie Squiggles. I don't think this is the last. I think prices are still going to go up. I bet you we see a five to 10 Ethereum floor on Chromie Squiggles, like just for normal base ones. Um, so I think if you have like 10 Ethereum lying around right now, there are some good buying and arbitrage opportunities on the Chromie Squiggle market. Definitely do your research on what you're buying, the supply, demand, rarity. If you buy one, where does the floor go to? If somebody like understand that price action ability. But Artifact coming out with this amazing shoe collab with Chromie Squiggles. I'm excited. With that said, let's jump into the floor prices. Like I said, Bored Ape Yacht Club sitting at 5 Ethereum floor. Um, and it's kind of the same that we saw with the previous floor right before we had that pullback where sleepy eyes, any eyes that are closed, definitely seem to be on the floor. And then as you start to scroll away, you get, unique normal eyes. That's just what I've noticed. Doesn't mean that's the rule or the law. The price activity that we have seen has been off of the floor, though. It's not just people buying at 5. People are spending in the 5 to 8 Ethereum range, seeing a zombie ape go up for sale at 8 there. Yeah, I mean, there's people buying. Party hat for 9.5. Seeing a 23 Ethereum sale roll in for a knife in the mouth with the cowboy hat. So really cool stuff to see. It looks like this I Can Fly guy selling off some of his pieces. Very interesting. So this is interesting right here. Like 8 minutes ago, Cox J. Lee selling a piece, immediately turning around and buying a zombie. I think that's a good arbitrage buy sell setup right there. So, I think if you have multiple apes and you want to get out of one right now, not a bad time. People are buying in, sell on the way up, not when there's, on the way down. It's definitely easier, get a higher price, more liquidity. I do think there's some interesting announcements not too far away. Bored Ape Yacht Club also announcing yesterday that they are hiring for a social media manager. It's the first, like, Intropo mentioned this in a tweet as well. Like, when's the last time we saw an NFT project hiring for a position and saying, hey, we're starting, like, Bored Ape Yacht Club is very quickly making me think, like, hey, they're operating at a Larva Labs level and they're going to grow like Larva Labs. They're going to be respected like Larva Labs. I'm just excited. So that's just making me more and more bullish on the project. I am not going to sell for a while. We'll see. I am still looking to make a few moves. Bored Ape Kennel Club floor pushing 1 Ethereum. I do think we'll see this breakthrough 1 Ethereum price activity between 1 and 2 Ethereum. Certainly the hot spot right now. And I do think we'll see, like we saw that Captain Trippy 17th sale come in yesterday. I do think we'll start to see some sales in like the 2 to 5 Ethereum range start coming in as people start to build their bags up. Taking a look at the Twin Flames floor, we saw a 12 Ethereum sale happen yesterday. The floor is currently at 14. I don't think this will change too much. I think at the most we see another 12 Ethereum sale. It's going to be interesting because I think a lot of the buy up has happened. I don't think we'll see any more like crazy like volume here. I think it's more of a people are aggregating, they're holding, and then now there's some people that have bought at like they bought at 0.55 and they just said they're not going to sell until it's double digits, and that's the only thing they would sell for. So I know these two that have just been listed at 14, it's a 0.55 buyer. And the rest are kind of just sitting around chilling right now. We do have D's, it looks like here, having one offered for 15. The Sarah brothers at 19. So people certainly are selling, but I don't think there's going to be any cheap sales coming in. And I certainly think the announcements that this project does or whatever comes next for it are going to be huge. So I'm excited to hear what Justin does next. Meebits, like I talked at the beginning of the show, getting more volume, price has gone up. We're still just under a 2 Ethereum floor. Hopefully that rises. The volume and activity has not stopped. We have seen lots of purchasing at the floor, but also lots of purchasing for those unique attributes. Just seeing a 3D Glasses Gang Meebit come in for sale, just under 10 Ethereum. And then just scrolling through the activity, it looks like somebody's making a play on 3D Meebits. I've seen over the last 24 hours a bunch of sales. It's just the same thing every day. Unique attributes, unique things like elephants and pigs, all kind of being the premium sales that we see come through. Otherwise, it's just people buying around original mint price or at the floor. And I think it's just the same story for Meebits as it is for punks. People getting into the space, first purchase is a punk and a Meebit. And for people that are very like believing in where the space is going, for Meebits and Larva Labs are coming in and picking them up. I went ahead and still have my Meebit hoodie. I went ahead and bought MeFits .eth. Have some plans there if you can figure them out. It's not too hard to figure out. I do think we'll see some sort of clothing attribute sale store pop up at some point. That's just my vibe and gut. I've read through the terms and conditions. Have you? That's just what I see coming. So looking at Cool Cats floor still sitting at like 0.5 to 0.6. A lot of the price activity there between 0.6 and 1 Ethereum. Chromie Squiggle art blocks, curated activity. Volume is still there. Pricing is still there. People are buying art blocks. It's a blue chip. It's the equivalent of buying Microsoft and Apple and Google and Amazon right now. And actually, it's like buying these like the day they IPO'd. Like essentially, they're a blue chip the day they IPO, and they're just going to be around forever. They'll always have liquidity. There's always going to be demand. So if we just look at the past trading history for art blocks curated, it's mostly Chromie Squiggles, seeing some Fidenzas roll through. But it's mostly Chromie Squiggles, it looks like. Fremente also getting some buying power. I have seen two people mention that to me, that Fremente have been one that's been picked up more and more. I might go pick one up just because looking through this, it's Chromie Squiggles and Fremente all day long. But like I said, art blocks certainly having the volume and the buying demand. Goats still sitting at that 0.1 floor, seeing pricing and selling happening everywhere though, all the way up to like 0.6. So people like the goats. I might pick a goat up. Why not? Just too much happening and not enough ETH. That is the story. Deadheads pulling back a little bit more. Looks like on pricing and volume. Floor hasn't changed too much. I think it's like 0.19. And then it looks like for like the skeletons, the zombies, those demanding a little bit more of a price. We'll see what happens here long term, but definitely worth noting that this project has had its kind of rise, and it looks like we're going to slowly pull back a little bit here, and then there'll be like an accumulation zone. Fame Lady Squad up, more price buyers. Floors up like 25%, 30% from its like 0.14 floor all the way to 0.2 almost. People like the ladies. I like the ladies. Do you like the ladies? Definitely seeing certain attributes go for more. Laser eyes definitely being like the one to own. I think if you pick up a laser for 0.25, you might be able to flip it for zero point 0.5 at some point. Uh, I do understand and hear people that are putting like comments of what is the con for this project. I do like that it is female only. I do like that it is a different project. I like the idea that they have certain attributes that we haven't seen before. Um, but I do understand people saying it's just another profile project. I think it does have some Genesis like clout within the space, saying it's like the first only female and it's the biggest. Um, so I am excited to see this one getting kind of the recognition it deserves, but I definitely think for long term price holding and like for it to become not like a blue chip, but like for it to be like relevant long term, there's going to need to be strong community around it, and it's going to need to do some probably owner inspired projects around it. So I'm sure we'll see a comic book that seems to be like the new thing, like do a project comic book, and maybe we'll see like an airdrop to people that own these of something else. But I would love to see some innovation with this project on what they do for the next steps. That would be really cool. I do know they are doing donations that help women, so that is super exciting to see as well. So I like the women, and I'm ready to continue watching what happens with them. Um, I wish I had bought a Lunar Zodiac. I didn't, but now I am. They are up, up, up. I think you could have purchased one for like 2 ETH or 2 to 3 ETH at one point. And now the seem to be selling for 3, 4, 5. Even saw 6 rolling at one point. So the Lunar Zodiac certainly becoming a hot topic for people, and Ghosts just continues to be one of my favorite projects. Even though I don't own one, I will gladly be a cheerleader from the sidelines. Um, I've DM'd with the founder of Ghosts a few times. I love his vision, personality, his charisma for the project. I think if there's like a top 10 list for people I'd love to meet in person from crypto, he would certainly be one of them, just because of like he didn't care. Like he was just doing it for the art, doing it for the love, build his community, and I vibe with that. So very cool. Glad to see Ghost still going up. Punk's comic is still sitting around a 1.2 floor. So there was a little bit of a pullback from that. Like we got up to like 1.4 at one point. So we got up to like 1.3 average sale price, and now we're just kind of chilling. Interesting to see what happens here. It's interesting. Cole, I've seen you on like the sell activity list for almost every project I've done this morning. So you're obviously getting out of some positions. Um, yeah, so somebody sold one for zero point 0.8. What were you doing? Uh, Seeing some sales roll in for 1.2 across the board. Looks like a few ones that went for higher must have been a low mint. And then we had a 6 Ethereum sale here for 14 and 17, which makes sense, matching like the previous high sales that we've seen for low mint digits. Round 3 Ethereum per low mint. Have seen a few that are in the twos roll in for mid 100s to 400 mints. So that is exciting to see. I think these prices just need another announcement to go up more. I think Meta Hero snapshot today will be interesting to see what people do after that snapshot is taken. Like, do people just turn around? They're like, okay, the price is high. I want to get out. I have 10 of these comics. I would like 5 Ethereum. They sell after the snapshot. I hope not, but I think looking at all the previous snapshot projects we've seen, the floor pulls back after the snapshot. That's just my prediction. Don't hold me to it. Do your own research, make your own informed decisions. But most other projects that have had a snapshot utility, we have seen a pullback right after. So maybe we'll go back to 1 Ethereum floor. And then I think the Meta Hero project is going to be a great success. So that'll be interesting to watch. Um, Checking out VFriends. VFriends certainly still having some liquidity on these. The floor just under 4 Ethereum right now. Seeing a few sales roll in for double digits. One epic, well, that's I think a very rare. And then seeing a spectacular perspective pigeon roll in for 15 Ethereum. Um, Another humble hedgehog for 16 Ethereum, and then an eager eagle selling for 26 Ethereum. It is a gold one. Super cool to see that happening. I think on like the rarity side, if you're selling a spectacular, again, do not sell it for under 15. That's just my opinion. I only own one spectacular and nothing else, but I wish I had bought up the floor of cores and then just flipped them all for 4 ETH. That would have been amazing. And I'd finally have a punk, but I'm not complaining. I like what I own. Um, it's gonna be interesting. We are seeing like this kind of pullback in volume right now on the chart. So we like spiked all the way up to 175 Ethereum in volume. Back down now to the low 100s in Ethereum volume, and it's just going to be one of those things that you need to keep an eye on as announcements roll out, because we still have not had announcements. I think one or two good announcements might send people FOMOing into these. The one that certainly will be the big FOMO is the gift goat. Whenever that gets announced, I expect that floor to quickly move to like 30 Ethereum probably. So that'll be interesting to see happen. Taking a look at Gutter Rats, which was the airdrop. I don't know why I don't have Gutter Cats up here. Gutter Rats pulling back, seeing some like mid 0.15 sales. Um, definitely nothing like crazy happening. 0.15 to 0.25 being where most of the sales are. And yeah, that's what I think we'll start to see. Just an airdrop. People are selling. They want the free money. And then the others that want to aggregate and purchase them, picking them up. We will take a look real quick at Gutter Cat Gang just because I'm curious where they're at myself. Hopefully, they're not under 1 Ethereum. That's where we saw the floor yesterday. So yeah, floor still holding. I believe there's still some price activity on these, and we'll see what happens in the long term. I know people again like the cats. Punks for sale, floor sitting at 20 Ethereum. I don't think that this floor is going to move right now per se. I think in a week or two, you do see this floor start to creep up into the mid 20s. All the punk sales that we've recently seen roll in have been just around the floor price over the last 4 or 5 hours. So seeing a spotty roll in, big glasses. Oh, this is a great pickup for 47 Ethereum. Big shades, headband with a smile. The smile is one of my favorite attributes by far. I think it's just vibes of my like positivity mindset, and just I think it's a cool profile photo to have instead of a straight face. Why not a smile? Seeing a VR Fiem roll in for 50 Ethereum. Seeing a wild hair roll in. Just cool. Like seeing a lot of price action off the floor. Hoodie sale for 70 Ethereum. Top hat sale for 60 Ethereum. I think there's also we're not. Here's the thing: we only get sales here, like people paying straight up Ethereum for their punks, or we get like the 0 or like the 3, 5 Ethereum stuff coming in off a trade. We don't see though the trades happening. I know we're seeing Twin Flames being traded for punks, and not just like 20 like floor punks. We're seeing Twin Flames being traded for like 30 Ethereum punks. And maybe this is happening like under the table kind of stuff where we don't see it that publicly. But we're seeing punks also being traded for some Fidenzas. We're seeing punks being traded for Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. We're seeing a few. I think we saw a guy trade like some punks comics, a Fidenza, and something else for a punk as well. So there obviously is like a secondary market to the primary market of punks where we have trading happening for them because they are almost a currency. Well, they are a currency at this point. So really exciting to see that. Punk's having volume up, as I spoke about at the beginning of the show. The opposite of up right now is the cryptocurrency market as a whole is down 1.5% almost across the board. Ethereum being one of the biggest tankers, and I believe this is just around 1559, where we see Ethereum down 10% over the last 7 days, and over the last 24 hours down 4%. We did get all the way up back to 2000, and now we're on our way back down to 1900. Just keep your eye on it. Everything's down right now. I think there's some FUD in the water. NFTs are up. Ethereum is down. I think it makes sense. A lot of people are seeing it as a opportunity to buy Ethereum lower and just get into NFTs that they want to get into. Like I mentioned, like that Daniel Hurst is 1 Ethereum, which means it's $2,000. And on average, like the cheapest Daniel Hurst you can get into right now is about $1,500 to $2,000, and then they can range all the way up to millions. So people are, I think, also seeing that as like, okay, Ethereum's not $4,500 right now. I'll pick up a Daniel Hurst for what I think it's worth. It could be a historic project. But I also see people having that same mentality for just getting into Ethereum or getting into NFTs. So we'll see how this plays out. Definitely keep an eye out on what's going on and make smart decisions. Guys, this is the July 15th, Thursday Morning Mint show. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. We'll have some spaces going on today, so join up in those. I've really been enjoying holding them. And as always, give me a like, subscribe if you haven't. It helps me out a ton, actually. And hit me up if you have any ideas. It also helps a ton. The last thing I'll leave you with is if you're interested in getting into the NFT space full time, might be worth sending me either a DM or commenting below. If you want to do content, if you want to do, kind of like design, if you want to do just want to be like a buyer, an analyst, like if you're doing stuff and you're like, I want to do a job or like be involved, let me know. I know a ton of people that are hiring. I know a ton of people that are looking for help. And it certainly is one of those things that I've found where people are just reaching out. I've been able to make a few connections and make things happen. So if you have any interest, shoot me a DM, leave a comment below, or just get in touch with me. I will try to help you out. And that is the show for today. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much.